So, I'm Kate Pearley. I'm the chair. This is our very first board-only SCCO meeting in the 20-odd years I've been involved. It's very exciting. And
I'm Louis Bidmar. I'm on the board, Greenwich Avenue.
I'm Terry Reed. I'm on the board, and I live here at 4750 River Road.
Don Wesley, I'm a board member as well, and I live on Edwards Drive.
I'm Jerry Moore on the board, and I live on Spring Creek Drive.
The other Jerry Finnegan, and I'm the secretary treasurer.
I'm John Favel. I'm a guest on the Northeast Neighbors Chair.
I'm Matt Bose. I live on Oxford Court, and I'm on the board.
okay. Is there anybody on the, yes,
Patty.
excellent. Patty, are you interested in public comment tonight? Do you have some?
I just want to see how I'm newly on a board here at Peace Village, and I just want to see how your board works.
Oh, all right. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. That's one of the things we're looking forward to is a meet and greet down at Peace Village in the near future this summer.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. So we'll start right in with John Fable.
Hey, yeah, thank you. We were here 2 years ago and talking about the arterial bridge and ways to fix beltline problems. And the board voted to, support our advocacy efforts. The reason I'm back is that a big opportunity is coming up in mid-July. The Joint Transportation Committee is going to be in town. There are about 6 reps and 6 senators, state level. Nancy Nathanson is the chair and is very much on the side of what I'm going to talk about. But we want to just make the pitch to them because they are the ones who are likely going to provide funding if it's going to happen. And the likely legislation will come up in 2025 or again in 2027. And we say, hey, they're going to be right there. Let's go in and make our pitch. And it's going to be about 90 minutes of public testimony. So, and we're looping back to all of the neighborhoods because we want to be able to say what we've been saying, which is that the 6 neighborhoods that align along the Beltline are all behind this. And we total almost half of the population of Eugene. And I love saying that and watching the mayor's eyes light up. And it's a very nice line. And so I'm back here just double checking, making sure you guys are still on board with what we're going to say. What we're going to talk about is, and some of you may have heard this, some of you may know about it. So, stop me, ask me questions if you want. But the big thing we're pushing for is an arterial bridge. And that is a bridge that would run parallel to the existing bridge and go from Green Acres Road over to your side and hook in with all the planned changes. It'll, reconfigure Beaver and River Avenue and Hunsaker and all of that stuff that you know more about than I do. But the arterial bridge is a different kind of solution. It's not another highway solution. It will be at arterial local speeds, be safer. It'll be able to carry transit, which the Beltline can't. It'll be able to have cyclists. It'll have pedestrians too, that I don't anticipate seeing a lot of people walking over that route. But big deal, and it's going to take about 17,000 local trips off the Beltline. So it would be just transformative in terms of Beltline congestion.
And Colbert Road congestion too, right?
Yes, I mean through the whole section there, but it would. I mean, it'll just alleviate those wall-to-wall parking situations that you see.
When did they be in town?
They'll be here July 17th, and I don't know the hours yet. I haven't seen the timetable on that, but they're doing a whistle-stop tour. They're having lunch with important people, and they are going around and seeing various parts of the city, and also have a public testimony section. What do you want me to tell you? What can I talk about? I just want to sell you on this, but
The question, when you say it will take 17,000 trips off of the Beltline, the existing Beltline bridge, I don't know, is that a daily number? And
That's
is
a
that-
peak hour, it's a daily number, and it'll be heavily peak hour. That's a daily number,
And
sorry.
what's it, I mean, what is, I don't know if there's 100,000 a day
Yeah,
right
yeah, that's
now.
about, that's somewhere around 20% of the traffic. And so it'll be a major transformation in terms of the flow along the Beltline. But it'll also be just an easier, safer route to connect our neighborhoods. And I think that's as big, we're going to benefit from it more than anybody else. And I don't say this for the other neighborhoods, but because it will give us an arterial speed option instead of going on the Beltline, which as I get older, I prefer more and more.
I mean, a real bike ped solution is a major selling point, I think.
Well, and it will be. I don't want to overpromise how many people will do that walk,
Mhm.
but I do expect to see cyclists. And I know transit will run, and I know LTD people have it in their minds thinking, oh, Santa Clara Station connected up to Riverbend Hospital. And there'll be all sorts of nice LTD spin-offs from this.
Have LTD said, I mean, right now LTD is very hub focused. Have they said that they would consider us?
They're not designing routes yet, but that is what they say is, boy, that helps our eyes light up about this. And LTD is very much in favor of it. Tom Schwetz, who is just stepping down as their planning director or something like that, is a very, very big advocate. We have sold it to, we've talked to Jameson Houghton about it, and he gets it, Pat, the marketing guy. I mean, we sell within LTD, and they know it's to their benefit because they would love to have a route connecting along through between these two parts of town.
Is there any dependencies on any of the larger ODOT project that's going to be going on the Beltline? I know that was kind of originally partially baked into their plan.
It's baked into it, it's part of it, and they're moving step by step west. And Vidal Francis has just gotten enough money to complete the overpass at River Road. I mean, sorry, Delta Highway. And in case you have missed the construction there, it's going to return in 2026, and they're going to widen the overpass over and Beltline there, and they're going to widen Beltline going under that overpass. So that will happen. But you know, the lightning speed of transportation, they're going to spend 2025 planning that in its details, and then 2026 construction, and then they'll get to arterial bridge and replacing the existing bridge across the Willamette. And
So that's when this would be
yeah, but
hopefully targeted for.
what I tell people is your grandkids will cross it on the Huffy Boys.
So, but can they be separated, the arterial bridge and the redoing the Beltline bridge?
They can be, and I think the big deal on our part is making sure they both get done.
Yeah.
Because Vidal Francis, we love him, great guy, Lane County manager for ODOT, and he says the arterial bridge is a city project, and they totally support it, but the ODOT project is replacing that existing bridge. And so our goal is to have it come out where, yes, we're going to replace your existing bridge, and we're going to get an arterial bridge that will allow local speed traffic, and then also LTD routes and so on and so forth.
But can they be unhitched in that? Can the arterial bridge be built? Because the amount of money they're going to have to raise to do the other bridge is astronomical compared to.
They both are. Arterial bridge actually is more expensive because there is right-of-way acquisition entailed.
Got to go through Delta and
Yeah, you got to buy land, and so that. But ODOT has been consistently behind the arterial. The city is. They have put money. It's not a lot in the overall picture. $5 million of SDCC funds are being set aside to use as matching in order to help fund the arterial bridge. And so the city's behind it because they know it'll make us happy and it'll be good for us. So we're pushing to get them both done. Long answer to your short question.
Just curious, there's a kind of the road that intersects, Green Acres, just east of the Delta Oaks. It's a
Yeah, Norkenzie.
Norkenzie, yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
got kind of honky kind of intersection right there.
Yeah,
And I know one of my friends is a surveyor, retired from the city, and he said they surveyed it, tried to figure out if they could do a roundabout there,
right,
and they can't.
right.
So we'll probably add to that. We'll add some cover to that.
That's something I asked in 2014 when I was on the Citizen Advisory Committee for this. I asked that question, and they said that it should not add to the traffic we see there. What it will do is take the traffic that's coming through there and going onto the Beltline and send it over the arterial bridge. And which I find pretty convincing. They mapped it out in terms of flows of where people will come from and where they'll go through. But I see that as very logical, that most of the people who would be using the arterial bridge would have come through our intersection anyway and then gone on to the Beltline. Instead, they just go to the arterial bridge. So Norkenzie may not get much hit. And we've bugged the city for years about what to do there. And if you know, tell me.
Yeah, it seems the roundabout seems logical, but there's
not room.
There's no room. There's a house, a crowd right up against it.
Yep.
I'm assuming that something will be done in tandem right there at Fred Meyer and Division with the roundabouts that they talked about.
That
Because it could bottleneck.
It all
right?
maps together.
Okay.
And I don't know in detail what's going to happen on your guys' side. I've seen it, but my memory just doesn't keep it all in there. But they map it all together, and what they tell me they're good at that. They reassure and they say, no, we make it all fit and we all come together. And also it will unfold gradually. I mean, there will be a design phase where they'll really pin it down and say, here's exactly where things will fall and exactly how things will unroll. And you can fine tune. The plans that are in place have wiggle room. They allow a little extra space for those final adjustments. And so, but you need to be there.
And the timeline?
Well, for the arterial bridge, your guess is as good as mine, because it's when there's money. And there's going to be a funding package probably in 2025 and another one in 2027. Do we get on that boat? I don't know, because an awful lot of money is going up to crossing over some other river up north of us near some other city.
Yeah, I know that there will be questions on where the money is.
It's all money. It flows from the federal boatload of money that came in and is divvied up by the Oregon Transportation Committee and by the legislature. And our goal is to say, hey, send some of it our way.
So how many local projects are vying for the same funding, and what are they? Are there others in the queue ahead of us?
By local, I mean like Lane County.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there's Highway 126 stuff. Okay, and last roll we were ahead of them in the priority. You know what else mine's for that, but that's part of the case we're making with the legislators and saying half of the city lives along this stretch of road, and we'd all like to see our lives made better, and we all vote. And the continued improvements that will eventually get to River Road and do an immense amount of stuff with that have to happen in sequence. And so they've got to go step by step west. And so we're next.
I think I had previously asked at one point, so that like having the additional bridge would be the detour while they're building the Beltline bridge, right?
You know,
eventually?
actually, it's more likely they will build a temporary bridge and then rebuild the Beltline Bridge and then tear down the temporary bridge. All of it boggles my mind.
For efficiency.
Yeah, but you know, they did that with flyovers as they reconfigured the interchange out at 5, right? Where they had flyovers that then disappeared afterwards. And hey, I'm not an engineer.
Is there any, can we advocate for taking what ODOT would put into the temporary bridge to supplement what Eugene's gonna pay for the arterial bridge?
I don't know that they can. I don't think the arterial. In fact, I know the arterial bridge couldn't handle near the load that the current Beltline Bridge handles. It'll handle 20% of it, something like that. So it couldn't viably replace it while they replace the Beltline Bridge. So, but I didn't even go there. So, grilled Vidal about this.
Asking too much to think of efficiency with the government.
You know, he's actually, they are attuned to that. I mean, it's funny to say because we know how slow and expensive things are, but Vidal Francis has to fight for every penny. And that's why it's taken so long to get the interchange money to finish working on the Delta Beltline interchange.
Yeah, but I don't think using the arterial bridge to take 20% of that traffic is gonna help out that much with. It's not gonna work anyway, so they need a bigger capacity thing, even if it's temporary.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think that's the efficient. The efficient solution is to build a. I don't think there's an efficient.
Closing one for 100% of the traffic and then tearing it down doesn't seem.
There's no option. You can't make 80% of the people stay home. There's not an option.
Maybe they build the equivalent of half to the south. They take care of the north half and change it. Then they have those two parts, and then they do the middle part,
Should start
and
a
then they get
planning
rid of
committee
this
for
and they
this.
go back. You know.
Well,
I
you're,
just think-
you're looking for a thumbs up, thumbs down on arterial, right?
I'm just asking for your guys' support as we advocate for it. And
I'm in
just
favor.
we're double checking with all of the neighborhoods. River Rose is on, ABC is on, and Cal Young is on. I'm going to check with Harlow once they get their act together. Again.
So on your side, it's Harlow, Northeast Neighbors, and Cal Young, and on our side, it's River Road, Santa Clara, ABC.
Yep.
We're at 20 minutes now. Okay.
Oh, so good.
Okay.
We'll be able. We started at 7 after.
Mhm.
Do we need a board vote on that or just an informal up down?
You know, you guys already voted. 2 years
We've
ago.
already approved it.
I've got a signed document. I just really wanted to come back and give you the opportunity to say no, tear that back.
Appreciate that.
Thank
Not
you.
many people get that opportunity.
Thank you for the update. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'll update you. Okay.
Okay, thanks,
Great.
John.
Thanks,
Thank
John.
you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
And, I got a thumbs up.
Yeah.
I hope no one parked behind me, and I will appreciate you guys too.
Thanks for all your hard work, friend.
Thank you.
Okay. Update on August 4th, Aubrey Park concert. Terry Breed.
Oh, boy, I have handouts.
Handout.
I have handouts.
I hope it's a Venn diagram.
It's not.
If this, then
A
that.
lot of words. Where you can read behind from. Yeah,
Direct on the handouts.
all right. We've made a lot of progress. I am super excited. We've got a lot of people working on this, and I know we've got people in stages. We've had people who have put heart and soul and effort into the planning, and there will be many asks for the execution of it too. So the concert at Aubrey Park, which is supported by the City of Eugene Art and Parks grant, this year is Sunday, August 4th from 1 to 4:30 p.m. at Aubrey Park. We have 3 bands and a singer-songwriter, much like last year. Sound is being provided by Ed Cashin again. He was great. I thought he did a fantastic job last year. He was so great. Just had everything set up and made it really easy. Two food trucks, trailers again, El Taco Taco and Justice Shave Ice will be joining us. So similar but different food tacos this year. We have quite a few vendor tables. I think we have 9 so far, and we're still open, which, I mean, we're already going to fall over. So I vote that the extra money that we need to pay for more than 10 tents, which truly with the music tent, the multiple music tents, and then the 2 that we're renting from Action Rental for spectators, sunshade for spectators will already put us over the 10. So it's gonna trigger another permit, and that's okay as far as I'm concerned.
Santa Clara Water District is a yes, and Santa Clara Fire hasn't figured out yet,
Okay.
but I'm still prodding.
Oh, perfect. So,
There's in my big tent is a 10 by 20. And then you only want 2 10 by 10s up through there? Because I have more.
I think we had 2 off the backside of the music tent, and it worked really well. Kate provided some shade on the backside, and I think it was you tell me you're the only musician here, Jerry. How did it work last
It
year?
worked
for you
pretty
guys?
well. Yeah,
It worked well.
Because coming bands could stage behind the.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, and there was shade after a while too back there.
Mhm.
So that was great. Yeah, thanks for the update. So Santa Clara Water. We'll still wait for Santa Clara Fire.
They can share a table likely. I
That'd be
mean,
great.
yeah.
That'd be great if they could do that.
it might just be Rod Graves doing both.
Yeah,
so,
he's-
you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
VS Troop 182 will be parking lot safety again. And flow, we are going to need more volunteers.
Are they Scouts USA or whatever?
It's
it is?
Scouts, is that according to Ron? It's Scouts,
Is
and
that-
not Boy Scouts any longer.
So it's Scouts USA Troop 182.
Scouting USA or Scouts USA?
Something like that, and I have to look at that because, you know, when I was doing the newsletter, you corrected me.
Good to know. I want to make sure that that's listed accurately. They do so much, and I don't know if they will. I need to confirm, and I think I've asked him, but didn't write it down. I need to reach out to Ron and find out if they will be tabling with the Grange. So it will be both the Grange and Scouts having tables.
Seems like they did at the park.
Is that what they
At Albert
combined
Park.
theirs? Okay. I had them combined, but. Okay, so, the sunshade for spectators this year. Tim reached out to Action Rental and, they're not willing to donate the tents, so we can pay for them. But we decided that investment was probably a good idea, partly for the morale of the bands, so that spectators aren't just, you know, around the edges, trying to,
They were,
clamor for
the whole
shade.
audience was moving to the shade.
Right.
Yeah.
Kept moving.
right, it does get really warm right in the middle of the park. And Action did offer to donate if we rented the 2 20 by 20 tents, they would donate 100 chairs, which is really great.
Do we have to set the fence up?
So there was a miscommunication on the date, and I think Tim originally thought it was on the 3rd.
Ooh.
And we were talking last week, and I said, it's on the 4th. Are they open on Sunday? And he was like, what? So, no, they're not open on Sunday. So he has already figured out that the tents, all the stuff will fit in his trailer. They'll just need volunteers to unload the trailer, help set up the tents. He said it's not hard. Doesn't seem hard. He has the instructions. And then, of course, tear down. Tear down goes very quickly, even with all the pop-ups last year. It went really quickly, but we do need bodies to do it.
Yeah.
So, and the method would be get those tents up first. before the rest of the tables come in. 'Cause once that's set up, you know, we will probably have to have an inspection at 12:30 before. So,
An inspection.
Fire usually.
yeah.
To go
Fire
get-
marshal. Yeah. And they've been great. Tim also reached out and, I think we're going to rent a water bottle refill station just so that everybody has access to water, just in case it's 100 degrees. And I really hope it's 86 like it was last year, but just in case it's really warm.
The fountains at the park.
I just don't know that it's enough. I think it's just $50 or something for the water. I'd rather have more than enough water, especially for band members are going to have a hard time running back and forth to the water fountain. So, and I think he's also grabbed some recycling. Like he'll have a recycling booth, so that will be great, and that will benefit. I think that should go and benefit the foundation as well. We'll need more volunteers for games in the park, which Jerry had some questions about that, trying to make sure the kids, I'll let you talk about that.
Well, and we're meeting at the park tomorrow to try to look at layout and we're going to have to guess about where the sun's going to be in a month and a half. But originally about trying to enclose that audience area with tables, but then that puts the kids' play area kind of remote and away from things and away from the parents and stuff. So we have to figure out a way that the play area is kind of incorporated in that area, not remote. And so we'll have to do some strategizing tomorrow, I think. And
The width of the clear area is huge from the tree by the playground to the trees over there. So if we move the tents to one side and have the playing over adjacent to the playground, but in the grass.
like a J shape instead of a total U, and kind of J shape with so that it kind of but I have to look. I have to look to see it.
And are you saying along the kind of the north side of the park? Run the tables along the north side of the park and south? I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, run them along the north side and then head along the east.
So you're starting at the north edge, you're running east, and then you're bending around behind the tents. And then there's the tents, and then there's enough place to play between the tents and the playground area where there's actually a tree with some shade. So maybe the
That's
kids
where
will
everyone was gathered last year.
exactly. But that could be the gaming area, and it'll be a little bit shady.
So it'd be right behind the audience.
No, next
next
to. So like,
Kate, I actually have a
aerial.
I have a site plan. Yeah. You want to draw it like you see it
Where the
in your
audience
head?
and the kids.
That'd be great.
Yeah, well, that's
Give us an
usually
idea and then
worked
you
very
can
well.
make
But I mean-
modifications tomorrow. So social media marketing promotion. So Gary is, getting the word out on community calendars. We're already on the city calendar. He's updating the SCCO Facebook page and he's utilizing the blog. He's also creating a whiteboard that he'll put in the kiosk at Aubrey Park.
First part.
that's the parking
Photos, I
lot.
think,
Yeah,
from
parking
last year.
lot, playground, little kids
And
playground,
then,
big tree.
Kathleen Allison from the foundation will be updating the foundation pages, and Vinny is creating the color flyer for distribution. Last year, this is what the flyer looked like in my great Canva artistic. But he's going to do something, I think a little bit better than that. So that'll be good. Are you Big Woody destroyed?
Big Woody was destroyed. We do have 3, sandwich boards, metal framed wooden boards, so we can paint those and put them out. We can make a new Big Woody if we want to buy some materials.
I guess we can just talk as it gets closer about the locations of those and what
Uh-huh.
you guys think. I think it was great last year. I mean,
Probably
Big Woody
somewhere
was
in
right
here.
there
I
at the
think
park.
is where we
Mhm.
were last year, yeah.
But I don't think that's where Big Woody gets destroyed, right? Big Woody got destroyed down at Les Schwab where, you know, like that's, but we could, you know, I could,
Yeah.
scrounge around and see if anybody has any plywood scraps and we can make a Big Woody. It's not a
Yeah,
big deal.
Gary was saying last time we were at the filling station that he thought he could repair a Big Woody.
Well, I will check with Gary about Big Woody and give him a hand.
And thank you for your artwork too, Kate. Yeah, it's wonderful to have that.
So you decide where you want the others and I'll get them painted up and we'll put them out. The sandwich
Okay.
boards. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, we have, we're gonna be finalizing the site plan hopefully tomorrow. That will help me finalize the permits, pay for the permits. And then on the 12th, next week at noon, we have our final consultation with the city.
Uh-huh.
So,
On that, is it, they're gonna have us use their power out of that box again?
yep. Yep.
And
So we'll
then
pick
we
up.
won't need more than the 2 circuits that they had last year.
Ed didn't need it last year. I do need to find, I think both the food trailers, I think they both are run on generator, and I
think they were
hope
last year.
again they're far enough away they won't be disruptive. But no, I think you did fine on the Zoom and everything, so yeah. And then yeah, so volunteers, community volunteers, people who want to help the day of would be wonderful. That's my
Yeah,
plan.
I'm in.
I'm glad to be there.
Yeah.
And I'll round up other people too if we need more people. You just say how many people we need and specifically what times you want them, and I will
Okay,
do some arm twisting.
awesome. I think it's gonna be a good time.
Got a 4-year-old that'll say he's helping.
Okay, we'll give them a
Don't
name
do that.
badge. That'd be great.
4-year-olds can do some work. Just have to pick the job.
And 2 supervisors, 2 supervisors. Over him.
That's the keeper of the keys.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Maybe he can help you watch the keys.
There we go.
And are you gonna give the people who are coming to table like a time, like actual appointment to come and set up at this time or that? Yes, you will do
Yeah,
that.
it's
Okay.
gonna be a little trickier because we're gonna have more vendors this year. And essentially, if you guys have ideas on how many is enough or too many, I mean, it's great to have small businesses that are local here that are interested. I just don't want it to be chaos or dangerous for people to drop off. And
Mhm.
You said we were hitting a trigger of like 10. That was
10 was what is your permit allows, and you have to do an extra permit if you go over that, right?
and technically it's pop-ups, it's tents. So we're already over. So we're
is there like a 20?
Or does that just mean infant?
That's a good question. I'll reach back out to the fire marshal.
Just wouldn't want to invite a bunch of people and then
I'm
suddenly
trying
we're
to, I'm really trying to
you've
say
been
that this is for I mean, a lot of these are for sunshade for people and safety.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
but we do have to, every single pop-up has to be tied down in some way. They've said we need them not to just be, they need to be anchored in some way. So,
Water jugs, like to us.
Well, and stakes would work there because you don't have the problem with.
We can just stand at the corners and put it through our belts.
you have to make a speech, so you can't stand at yours. That'd be awkward. Yeah.
All right. Anything else on the event? Okay. So I would say put out a plea with specific time frames for helpers and see what, yeah.
Yeah.
Treat it like a sign up thing. All right, great. New business. Let's see. So we let's start with the SJC part. We're gonna do it that way.
Okay.
So we need to schedule some of our upcoming general meetings. And Don, the SJC program is interested in.
Yeah, our next SJC, educational piece that we were hoping to bring is, the governor's all-in program represented in Lane County is Kate Budd, and she's agreed, she's available either October or November, so I figured one of those two would be a general membership meeting, and I think maybe both of them might be, because I think maybe the board meeting is, I don't remember, is the board meeting in September?
I think it is September.
I think so.
And in December, so I think both of them, so either October or November she's available, so whichever one works best for.
But we don't have anything else scheduled, so at this moment, you can just claim one.
Then let's claim the November one, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, we
Isn't
need,
that what we were hoping for?
yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
I just got it.
Are there more copies of the agenda?
Anybody else want to give up their agenda?
I have more coffee.
Pretty much I looked.
All right. So next month, we don't have a meeting because the Thursday falls on the 4th of July. And then August is general, and then September's back to board meeting. So does anybody have, there was a query that came in from Better Eugene Springfield Transit about, now that LTD has decided they're not implementing MX on River Road, and there's they're winding up their work on Franklin Boulevard, I want to say, that Better Eugene Springfield Transit is interested in focusing energy on the River Road corridor. And so I got an email curious about how to engage residents. And I thought, what might really make sense is to do an ARCO-SACO joint forum and have the city and LTD and the county all there to talk about transportation projects and specifically about transit and how that will or won't change over time and the other projects that are coming up in our neighborhood. And that might be another one of those things where we want to have it at a school or something, but we could have Best or the city be the host for that and take some of the work off our plate to make that happen and just be ready to facilitate that.
Love that idea.
And they could pay for the insurance for it because we don't need to do that for them.
Right.
So I don't know if that, I will try to see if that's something we could get down and organized by August. That might be a good one for getting people back in the loop.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
So whether that would be on our night or it would be a different night, I don't know, but we could see. So let me put that on my to-do list.
Just add it to the bottom.
It won't go to the very bottom because then I won't look at it till the end of July and then it'll be too late to manage it. So are there other programs that people see wanting to create or have or promote for general meetings?
We have elections coming up this year.
That doesn't come till January again though, right?
You mean national.
Oh, you mean election? I thought you meant, of course, SACO election.
No.
You mean like
No.
the United States
Real
of
election.
America?
Oh,
The United States of America.
So what, are there candidates specific to our area?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know.
Lindsay already won for Ward 7.
I think she went outright. I think the mayor went outright.
We don't have a county commissioner to swap up. We don't
Yeah.
have Mike Clark. I don't think he's
Nope.
got a opponent
So-
or even running.
So
So.
it's a moot issue for us.
Well, in terms of candidates, if there's ballot measures or something that people care about and want to have information, we can.
Like,
Our voting died, so.
Uh-huh.
which getting it in the city of Eugene for nonpartisan races wasn't my priority. We needed it for the bigger partisan races.
I think they were looking for a little win to get a little
They're,
momentum.
they're also collecting signatures for a statewide,
Mhm.
um,
Initiative.
yeah.
Hmm.
The stadium completely died, so I'm not sure there really is anything, any that I'm not aware of about. I'm sure that it's gonna be worth.
No bond measures or anything, no?
Nothing.
We've already
like-
passed this last time.
Yeah. Well, there's one for letting marijuana workers unionize, because there's ambiguous language in the federal law that's federally illegal still. And there's Oregon rebate, which is similar to the Alaska oil rebate, but it's like gross receipts thing. It wasn't, I thought Nancy was on the printer about in terms of like state collection.
Yeah, but she won't. I'm not sure she was in fun.
Okay. I only saw half, but
And Manning, did he win outright?
No, Manning, but he's not up for, he was running for Secretary of State.
Yeah, he didn't
and
make it.
Didn't make it,
Uh-huh.
but he keeps the senator seat,
Uh-huh.
and then he's not up this year for that,
Okay.
so it's not. he's not
Reed
valid
won
anymore.
that one.
Hmm?
Reed won that one.
Yeah,
Tobias Reed,
he
yeah.
did, yeah.
So Tobias Reed, that's true, so Tobias Reed will be in, up against the Republican Secretary of State candidate, but I'm not sure Secretary of State candidate's gonna.
They don't want to come to Saco, probably.
Don't think so.
No.
And I think that the vast majority of people couldn't tell you what the Secretary of State does. So,
Which would be a good reason to have an education program about it, but I doubt that he has the bandwidth.
uh-huh. Okay.
And either of them, yeah.
So probably not an elections forum. What else?
But I'm curious about next steps of public safety. I mean, did anything, I wasn't able to attend that, was particular, like that was,
They need money.
yeah, yep. Yep, they do.
Do you,
If there's an opportunity, I do have a contact at the Oregon rebate chief petitioner. If you want to give him like 5 minutes at a future meeting,
Okay,
if we're trying to fill this out. He hasn't asked me about this group specifically.
well, we're always happy to host people for short bits if they have something that, I'm just wondering if there's any like program, like major thing that we ought to be addressing that I'm not paying attention to, or.
Isn't there an upcoming change potentially from, I think it's City of Eugene, but it's to their stormwater fees? Which I was curious to know how that would impact us ratepayers countywide.
I didn't see anything about that.
I just saw it from EWEB board meeting that Sarah Maderi was there presenting and saying that there's
yeah, you mentioned it, yep.
that they're needing to make up a
Yep.
funding gap, and they're looking at changing the language of what the stormwater, don't quote me on any of this, but what stormwater fees can be spent on, and then increasing the stormwater fee.
Okay, so maybe having somebody come and talk about that.
Yeah, I think especially if it's if it impacts everyone that pays stormwater fees, not just city residents.
It's something to be said for not filling that October spot simply because things do come up.
Yeah,
And I could look into that a little bit more.
But I think we have an August spot as well.
right.
In August.
Well, if we make the transportation forum in August, then we won't have space for anything else. But and then September's a board meeting.
Mhm.
But then we have October, which is
October
available.
is what
So,
we're talking about. And so that's what I'm saying is that,
mhm.
that maybe you shouldn't be so eager to fill that spot right now.
Well,
Mark that one for a maybe.
maybe.
I'll look into that.
Got it. Okay. Jerry Moore, would you tell us about the geocaching idea you've got?
Because I'm not a geocacher, but I've been out geocaching with a friend who is. And Kate and I were talking about how can we like make games in the park nights kind of include adults. And geocaching is sort of an adult version of treasure hunting. People hide things in places in parks, and then they tell you, you go online, you find out what the coordinates are, So you use your GPS system, use your phone and go look for those and sign in. You've got it. Sometimes there's tokens that you can take and it's it's a huge deal in a geocaching community. But I thought there's 2 geocaches in 2 parks. There's 4 geocaches in Santa Clara right now. There's one in Wendover and the other one I think is Filbert. And then there's one on Blackfoot. And then there's another one over that way that's on somebody's private property. But they're kind of we were talking about this, make it a contest for an evening for people to be able to visit if there was a geocache in every park, then people could go and look for those and, and sign in. We could create an online geocache group for Santa Clara, and maybe if they hit them all, we get prizes or something. Or
Maybe we can get like a filling station to donate a pint for the winner or something like that.
yeah.
We're just trying to think of ways that we can engage the community in doing something fun, visiting the parks that doesn't require us showing up and spending 3 hours to make it happen. And
Brilliant.
That was one of the things that I know that the friend of mine who does geocaching, she goes all over the world for her job anyway. And every time she goes geocaching there as well. And she makes her vacations include geocaching. So it's like this treasure hunt kind of thing. Anybody else?
Yeah,
I know about it.
Yep.
We're-
I haven't. Yeah, I used to live right across from one, and for a long time I thought, what is the big deal in those bushes? But it's like all these middle-aged people going. I was like, I don't think it's anything bad over there, so I had to go find it.
Yeah.
the Heilman Bridge used to have one.
Yeah, the issue is, of course, is that is a kind of discrete kind of group that does that, and I'm not sure you really get a huge bunch of people coming to do that.
It's something we could advertise in our newsletter, like want something fun to do in Santa Clara?
Yeah.
Check out this website. There's a geocaching, hunted geocache in all the parks. Win whatever.
Like a scavenger hunt.
Yeah,
Those kind
it's
of
like
things.
a scavenger hunt.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I like the coastal,
the
the glass floats, the
right.
glass
Glass
floats they're
floats,
hitting,
Yeah, yeah.
but different.
But it might get more people to hit more parks
Uh-huh.
than would normally. Might not otherwise go there. Like I looked it up, and there's only two parks in Santa Clara that have them. So it would be worth it to have a group. I love that. Yeah, to go and put some in. And
So to make this happen, Jerry, what do we need to do? Like in terms of people and materials?
I mean, it's something I haven't done a lot of, just a little bit with that print, and so it would be finding something to put the sign-in sheet in, and
So containers.
the containers to hide, and maybe some tokens if people have those, and then getting it on the website.
Is there sort of a standard kind of box you're supposed to use, or is that really fluid?
No, some people on private property they might use these ammo boxes, but you can't do that in the parks here.
There are park rules about
There are
geocaching.
like rules about geocaching.
So as long as you follow the park rules, it can be whatever.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Ammo tin or a Tupperware, or probably in the parks, so you want something transparent so people don't think it's bad.
Right.
And then like one of the little notebooks that are like pocket size.
Yeah. And and I believe you can have a group that people could sign into, right? So for Santa Clara Parks or something, and then that's how we could track.
You mean like there's something in there that people?
It would be online.
Mm-hmm.
And we created the group online, and then they would get online, say, "Yeah, I found this one."
Some of them are just like a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, and the fun part is that some people will. There's usually clues on the web pages for each of the geocaches, and some people are very creative about what the clue sounds like. So it's like a puzzle you have to figure out.
That's your favorite thing to do.
Okay. So that was really
Uh-huh.
My son is all grown up. I can't do his treasure hunt anymore.
cool. So I just want, so I think that would be something that could entice folks, because they can do it with their kids.
Uh-huh.
The kids can do it. So it's not like it's something just adults.
Okay, so how many parks do we have in Santa Clara? There's Ruby. On the west side, there's Ruby, there's
Yeah, listed on our
Arrowhead,
website.
there's
Lone-
Filbert
Lone
Meadows,
Pine or Lone Oak.
Lone Oak's on the east side.
Oh,
So there's Ruby, Arrowhead, and Filbert Meadows, and Ferndale on the
and
west side,
Bobolink.
and Bobolink. So that's 5. And on the east side, there's Riverloop 1, there's Wendover, there's
Santa
Terra
Clara.
Linda, there's Santa Clara Community Park, there's
Aubrey.
Lone Oak Park and Aubrey Park. So we're already at 6 on one and 5 on, so that's at least 11.
And then you could probably do them at the at High Almond
And Whiteley.
and Whiteley.
So that would be 13 geocaches.
Did you include Filbert Meadows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay. So does somebody want to do containers? Does somebody want to do widgets? And somebody want to do notebooks? Or how do we want to do it?
I'll look into all of them and see what I can
Uh-huh.
come up with.
Well, you don't have to take it all on.
But then,
I would
but
do
then
it.
divvy it up.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would do
Yeah.
it with you, Jerry. We could,
Yeah.
we could doodle on it.
And we can
That'd be
assign
fun.
people. There are people who
Yeah.
think it's fun. Like I think I'll volunteer Mary Leontovich. I think she might think that's a fun thing,
Totally
right?
would. She told me
There are
that's a great idea.
People who aren't on the board who would
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to do something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And if we put together just like the guidelines,
Mm-hmm.
right, and gave them a box
Uh-huh.
and some ideas, then let go forth and be
Yeah.
creative with that.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then I haven't set up anything online, so.
And I bet Jessica might find that really fun because Vera would find it interesting, and Summer's
Oh,
coming,
right.
and they need something to do. too.
Yeah, I
Yes,
bet you they would.
So there are
I'll
lots of
dig
people.
into the online part and end of things.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
I can do very precise GPS mapping. So getting a
Right, once we find the places, we can.
centimeter level accuracy.
Oh, you have a
Wow.
Garmin or something?
Perfect.
No, it's got the real time corrections to like 27 satellites.
Okay, sweet.
And,
I
and if
understand.
it's up high, up in the ground, is it a different coordinate than if it's down low?
Uh,
The altitude is over here.
you can do elevation, but I don't think any of those track that.
Good. We don't want it to be too
No.
perfect.
I know, it'd be
We want people
complicated.
to have to hunt.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, and that's the idea of putting in like these strange clues.
Coming your way.
It's the strange curves that
Yeah,
got me
you can
excited.
sit over there.
No, that's perfect.
Just keep shifting.
Uh-huh. I'm just
Oh,
eventually going to
okay.
be in Louis' lap. Louis, tell us about NLC and what you need for.
So it is, what is it, the third
It's the
Monday,
fourth Tuesday.
fourth Tuesday of every month. There's the NLC meeting, and during the summer months, I'm not available on Tuesday evenings. So the plan initially was for me and Patrick to split it, roughly down those lines, but he
And then
obviously
you let us all down.
he can go in spirit but not in body anymore.
Right. Right.
So I'd be interested in continuing a co-representative to that, or more than happy to let somebody else take over.
Maybe we should appoint Scott as the new guy. As like, here you go. We've
Miss a
got
meeting?
He's a happy student. I mean, he has rapt attention at meetings. He might be.
The fine print that I don't think I was aware of, somebody might have told me, but I wasn't mentally aware of it, is they ask you to co-chair 2 meetings in a rotation.
It's changed because there used to be people for 2 years at a time. And then some neighborhoods have dropped out and there's a lot of burnout and nobody wants to be the chair. So now we're doing rotating chairs at MLZ.
But so technically it's three meetings. You're the secretary for 1 month, the like backup co-chair for the next month, and the like head co-chair for the next month. So you're co-doing it with another neighborhood.
And then there's a bunch of months where you don't, while the others take their turns, and then you
Yeah.
come back around.
I think it's roughly once a year. It's slightly less than once a year.
Well, I think that's reasonable. We could ask Scott if he would take that up with you. What do you think about that?
And I think it was November that they were looking for the next Santa Clara host.
And you'll be back in the saddle by then, theoretically.
Yes, but looking at the calendar, I don't think it'd make the month prior, so I wouldn't have any idea what's going on.
But are you required to set the agenda and the topic for the month that you're the chair? I think that's how it goes.
Depends on if there's a hot topic. If there's a hot topic, it kind of gets like it just
Elevated,
like,
yeah.
You can just get run with it.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, yes, come up with something.
So are you willing to contact Scott and say at the meeting, Kate decided that if you're available, this is a great way to get your feet wet for board duties and understanding how other neighborhood associations also work, and that we need somebody to step up. Are you willing? You're willing to do that? Call in and find that out?
Is there contact with them?
I'm sure you got the
Your
new
roster?
board roster, however many months ago Jerry
Yeah.
created it. It's in your email somewhere.
If you don't have it, let me know. I can send it to you.
You don't have to tell him like
Sent to have
he
it.
has to, but we're inviting him to step up and take on that.
We have this amazing opportunity for you.
An opportunity for you.
Wow.
That's a Scott thing. Let's hope he doesn't watch the recording of this meeting.
Okay, so we have a possible NLC rep, August programs we looked at. So our next thing about the neighborhood plan process is the city was all through the plan process, we were always talking about what happens with implementation after it's adopted, and that the city planning department wants to move the entire city, all the neighborhood associations, to regional planning. And since River Road and Santa Clara together are already a stormwater basin and a parks planning unit, it makes sense that we are also a land use planning unit and a neighborhood planning unit. And so they want to have annual coordination meetings with the department heads from transportation and parks and open space and planning and development and all the different departments once a year with a representative from each of our organizations for them to come and say, well, these are where we've got funding, and we'd have Lane County at our area too. To say these are the programs where funding's coming. We're going to be looking for projects like blah blah blah, and we would show up after having done our homework and have a paper version for everybody of our action plan and going through and saying, oh yeah, well we have a whole bunch of enthusiasm around this action and that action and that action. Is there any
Your funding thing?
or is there any funding for that? And if they say no, our funding is over here, then we go in here and we go like, oh well, what is it that we could find that would rise to the level of enough people getting involved to make that happen?
Yeah.
And so we have to use this. It has to be like a working, living document that we're constantly checking in with. And I have a paper copy for everybody, and you can mark it up however you want and hold on to it and use it, or you can find it on your computer. But they haven't committed to when that date is for the first one of those. And so we're trying to nail that down. John Belcher and I are trying to work on them for that. But that's going to be a good part of our work, probably for board meetings, is trying to use this, because the idea of it is it's a useful document that helps us focus our attention and our efforts in a way that brings us the greatest outcomes.
Yeah.
So that's that thing.
Other than the annual, so really, we're gonna get a date for an annual meeting.
Mm-hmm.
All of the departments present to us.
I think they all show up and we show up. Like whether they're prepared with their presentation, I don't know, but
So we
hopefully,
have to be prepared for it though.
yeah.
Yep.
We have to do some homework. Like this is, you know,
Yep.
we're hearing a lot from our neighbors about this, and this.
Yeah. How does that fit?
Does that fit with any programs that are
Yep.
getting funded or any initiatives you're thinking about starting? Or, you know, it's just a way to get ahead of the curve
Yep.
on everything, I think is the idea.
So this is adopted and it's like a checklist that's gonna live for
The action
10, 20
plan
years.
doesn't get adopted because it's not
Oh.
enforceable in that way, but it
The other half
is,
of it, but-
right. So the action plan is the,
So this can live and get updated.
yeah, it can get changed. It can get all, you know, however we need to focus on it. And remember when we created all these actions, there were long-term, medium-term, short-term, super difficult to easy, so expensive to free, and you know, every possible permutation and
Yeah.
combination of those things. And just because something is long-term, difficult, and expensive doesn't mean we don't advocate for it. If it's the most pressing thing for us, we bite on that and we keep biting and say, this is what we need, this is what we need, this is what we need. But you know, ours will be a little different than Arco's, but there might be some big ones that are line right up with both of us. So, you know, I don't visualize us doing all our work in conjunction with Arco, but there might be some where we say, let's tag team on that. So, and then did anybody who we didn't hear from about the work plan document that we submitted to the city for budgeting for the coming fiscal year, was there anything that somebody wanted to?
I liked what you did.
I really like it.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so we're gonna hear from them, you know, they're like, oh, thanks for the information. We'll be looking at it and you'll hear from us about what's available.
But it's July 1st, right?
That starts the fiscal year,
Yeah,
right?
Right, okay.
So they're gonna be making decisions between now and then. And I wasn't really clear, and I asked Julian about this. So our funding from Lane County doesn't go away, it stays with us. And so we do have some, you know, cashed away. But the funding from Lane County really only matches what we used to get for the postal printing fund from the city. So the city would determine how much money they gave to each neighborhood by number of addresses, a certain dollar and cents amount per address per annum. That didn't include the one time a year $400 for an event or some other things, but we did use that money, number per address, for all of our mailing and production, but also for buying our A-frames and our banner wiggly things or whatever you call them. And there are a bunch of other things that people could use it for. So when the city backed 30% off their funding scheme last year, like reduced it, we asked the county for 30% less. We always ask the county for the same dollar amount for our county addresses, which are 52% of our population. And so we backed the ask back 30% so it would match with the city. And then this year, because the city's doing it totally differently, we don't really have a target number. So we asked for the same that we asked for last year, which is 30% less than what we had 2 years ago. But
So we're at 52% county, 48% city.
correct.
And do you know the total?
Addresses?
Mhm.
8,894 or something.
Okay.
Mhm. No, residents were 21,000 people,
Okay,
but addresses is just under 9,000. So when we're saying to people, oh, we'll promote you in our newsletter if you give us blah, 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 we reach almost 9,000 residents is what you can tell them.
and addresses, you mean addresses are businesses?
I think they're just
Everything.
Their
residences.
businesses as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, because that was the problem with it on the newsletter on how it's addressed. If it says resident, then it won't be delivered to a
Businesses.
business.
Ah,
So I asked them this time to put on Santa Clara community neighbor.
mm.
And that's what they-
So you all
And that
got
would go.
yours?
Yep. I got mine. And if it says neighbor, it'll go to business and resident.
The resident was like one of those no words. You can't use that.
Nice workaround.
Yeah.
Well, it was Gary Haleski was like kept pushing. And how can we do this? And he had some suggestions and I did. Yeah.
And it's, having these documents is something that they really harped on at the last NLC meeting I went to. That it's not necessarily the specific programming; it's the having a plan to do things. Lets them allocate funding.
Okay.
And
Certainly.
there were people very concerned about, well, if you're making us have this plan before we know how much money we get, like you're inherently controlling the programming that we have and what we have to do. And it's like, they were pretty clear on no, do whatever you want to do.
Ask for everything and we'll give you what we can,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
they told us. So
Rebuild us a school building.
well,
Yeah.
that isn't really in the neighborhood funding budget, but but I think we did a pretty good job of trying to include everything we really think we want. I mean, we didn't add like miscellaneous or, slushy areas.
At least we can cover costs.
That's the hope. And so if we find that this next year, like, ugh, we came across a bunch of stuff that we couldn't manage or had to not do for funding, then we'll have to pay close attention to dollars and cents when we have to do this again next year.
Or figure out how we
Raise money
Fundraise.
other ways.
make this coffee meet and greets, I'm passionate about all that stuff. I love the geocaching. Any opportunity to, I don't know, connect in meaningful ways, even if it's being part of a group that doesn't necessarily meet in person, but it's still, I don't know. I just think it's kind of
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jerry was telling me that we don't even need to have prizes because geocaching is its own prize. So that made me feel good. Like there's trinkets and the stuff, but like if you finish it all, you don't get like, oh, $100 this. You don't need to have that. It's
But
just
challenge
fun to
finding
do it.
the challenge of finding
It could be like maybe just on the webpage. It's like, yeah, I got them all or whatever. Like if you do it all,
Put your
Uh-huh.
thing in there. Maybe we come up with something that, somebody
Oh.
has some like,
maybe
Swag
everybody
that
who
they-
finishes all of them, we put their name in a hat and we draw one
Yeah.
ticket and
Yeah.
give away something.
Yeah.
We can make a basket of fresh produce or something. Like I'm not averse to giving shit away, but I don't want to give shit away to everybody who decides this is fun because that could be like 1,000 people.
It's like the first person who does it, all of them or something.
Uh-huh.
Or like put it in a hat and just pull out.
and some businesses.
Yeah.
Give something. Yeah. We could ask. Maybe there could be like one prize a month. Like every month that everybody's done, you just pull one ticket.
Or they get a coupon for some, some amount percentage off of something at the filling station or the burger
there you go.
place
Uh-huh.
or, one of the restaurants or something.
We
Yeah.
could actually include the coupon in the cash.
Oh, the first person to find it gets the coupon.
Oh, Lord,
Yeah.
Jerry Finnegan.
Now we're
And
going to have Jerry.
they don't know which park it's in, so they have to really And then we could just not put any in. They don't need to know. They'll think somebody else got it. Okay. Well, fun. So city bylaws requirement, Jerry Finnegan.
Okay, this is just for your information. They've come out, the equity and community involvement, whatever they're called now, has decided that they're going to require all the neighborhoods to refile bylaws by October.
Why do we have to refile them?
No, wait a minute. It's because they want to make sure that the equity statements is in their bylaws, and they want to make sure that their bylaws are consistent with the model charter. But we use the model charter. We included an equity statement. We gave them this thing in April. So we're good. I think we're good, but the rest of them are going to be scrambling to try to get it done by October.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay.
You flogged us through that gently, and now we are in a good spot.
Yep.
Took us but a few years, but we got it.
We prefer to be last with wet noodles. Thank you. Jerry.
Fine. It was well done.
Okay. Well, good. So we don't have to do anything. You've got your finger on that pulse.
I'm going to check with Cindy to make sure that
Okay.
we're good. But we should have met all of the requirements with that thing that's going to be turned in, and they're so recent.
All right.
They're just probably whipping the rest of the neighborhoods and shit.
Well, and it got really twisted out of shape because she says, this is not fair at all. Some neighbors don't meet at all during the summer, and you're asking them to do a huge task.
And they have to pass it through their general membership and a vote, right? So, so I think we're to the part where we are talking about the summer events and people signing up to actually do games in the parks, and for the 3 parks that Matt has generously decided to lead, but he needs help for all those parks. And then we are also doing games before the movie night on August 16th for the Grange movie night. So that's 4 game night opportunities where we need people to volunteer, as well as our concert in the park.
Which are the dates for the 3 now?
I think they're the 4th Tuesday every time. Last Tuesday of every month, June, July, August. Louis has them in his thing.
Yep, last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday in June is the 25th.
Yep, 25th will be at Arrowhead. 30th will be at Wendover. 30th July will be Wendover. And 27th of August will be Ruby. 5 to 7.
And August 16th is going to be at the Grange games. Before
What date?
August 16th.
Okay.
And what time was the movie?
August
When does it
16th for the.
I think that was their, does it say
So
movie?
June
first or
25th, I should be able to do that. So the
August
time doesn't
16th,
affect me. Put it right in here right now.
Okay.
June 25th, what time?
5 to 7.
And it's at, that one is, did you say Arrowhead?
The June one
It's
is Arrowhead. Yep.
Arrowhead.
I'll do Wendover.
5 to 7. Okay.
You live one at Auburn?
Nope.
No, I figured that the Aubrey Park,
It's already taken.
concert would cover that one.
Yeah, I should be able to help on the Arrowhead one for sure.
If not, I'm launching rockets over to your house.
Terry and
So
John.
everybody.
Yeah, I'm available on the 25th. I'm not sure about the 30th of July.
Where's 30th?
Wendover.
Yeah.
So Jerry Moore and I will join you on the 30th.
Okay.
So we need August 27th for Ruby and August 16th for the Grange.
Looks like August 16th is a Friday.
Okay.
I don't really have a clear sense of my August.
Mhm.
I can probably help.
The Grange
Okay.
movie is
Uh-huh.
really being done by the Grange, isn't it?
The Boys, not the Boy Scouts, the United Scout Troop one, whatever.
Scout
Mhm.
troop.
The-
And so volunteers.
No, we're doing, he asked us to do it with them so that it, and have game night in advance of the movie.
Oh.
So we are.
This is Tim, I will do the Grange.
Tim,
You'll do it August 16th?
Yep.
Okay.
Hi,
And
Tim.
we probably
Hi.
need at least one more person to do that with you.
I'm gonna be at the Grange.
Okay, so Tim and Terry
let
read.
me check they're so close to me. Let me check this.
Okay, so we still have Ruby Park on August 27th, and we could fill it.
There's plenty of time between now and then.
And
I have it down.
other people.
And then Last time we got some donated treats. Is there any chance that that happens again? Or?
I will put in a query to them and see, although I think they're out of business, but we'll see.
Coconut Bliss or whatever
They
they
moved.
became.
Uh-huh.
Did they go out of business or just
Well, I
moved?
think they got bought by an East Coast company
Oh,
and then they closed the First Avenue.
Yeah, it's McKinsey River Trust now. That's what it signs
Yeah.
says.
So, yeah. So anyway,
If not,
I'll
then
email
we're
the person we had before and see if there's
I'm game
any.
for buying some boxes of
We'll get some treats.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I misspoke.
Oh.
I'm gone for
It's all right,
about-
Rich. It's all right. It's in blood. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. On the 16th of August, can I do another one?
How about August 27th at Ruby Park?
27th. That looks good.
Okay, so Tim is one of somebody, and we'll get another one to join him. And so Terry Reed is the only person who signed up for Grange Night so far. So we'll
I'll
still
be
work on that.
I'll be a potential. We'll just be getting back into town. So
Uh-huh.
let me check with.
There's a good chance I can, but I'm not real sure yet.
Uh-huh.
We don't have a, yeah, I
No,
don't think we have a
he's,
time.
I think we do.
Oh, we do?
It was in the newsletter.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything else.
I
can find that.
I think it was a little bit later. I think it was 5:30 instead of 5. It
Yeah,
just
something
I'm
like
not
that.
Okay,
positive,
here we
but-
go. Excuse me. Oh, here we go. The 27th, 5 to, no, that's the 27th, 15, 5:30 game night, then at 8 p.m. Movie at the Grange.
So that's what we know so far.
Considering all the people that are gonna be there for stuff, there might be plenty of help.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
I do think, I know that they're wanting to partner with us, so hopefully we can get, I don't know how many people are gonna show up at games in the park. We might need more people than a couple.
We don't have to do.
I mean, it's not that much setup for us.
No,
It's just show up with the games and let people play. And we need to have some sign up sheets because we want to keep trying to get people to give us their email for.
We might have to eat an ice cream to help deal with
a coconut, well,
Mhm.
depending on what we get.
to help deal with the that's something that you have to step up
Okay.
sometimes.
All right, and depending on our budget, I'll get those 5-gallon water coolers, and we'll get some paper cups. So we have water for game nights, Jim. And I'll have a table for that.
Are we?
If that can't work out, let me know.
games, Do we need to like, do we need new games? How do we?
Well, we've always just done whatever Matt and I have.
Yep, that was it.
I'm just wondering, yeah, like a volleyball or soccer ball or something like that.
The kids really like the balloon, but
They do like the balloons.
So I'll order some more of those. And they have the bumpers come with it. So we'll have plenty of that. And we have our stomp rockets. And we can get maybe a couple more rockets for that, but I can probably find that somehow.
I've lost several times to a kid hula hooping, so I'm happy to humiliate myself again.
We have the 2 hula hoops and we have the ring toss thing and
Ladder toss,
You have
and
ladder
bocce
balls
balls,
and you have the
frisbees.
football and,
what's that thing you put the beanbag through the hole?
oh yeah, that I have
cornhole.
that.
Cornhole.
Cornhole.
Yeah,
And then
that's great.
that little trackball game I'll get back. And I have those 2 little mini lacrosse sticks. So
Frisbee, you frisbee.
we
We
had 2 frisbees.
Yeah,
I think they're in the kit. So if there's something else you think we need to provide or another exciting game that you're thinking of, say the word and we'll look for it. We don't really have a soccer ball.
I brought one
Yeah?
time.
Hmm.
I
I
don't
think
think
I
it could
might
use. Yeah,
All
it
of
was like
ours are-
I brought a little tiny one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Let's see, so on my list is also,
Make sure your parents vote would be a good game.
right? Well, we have gotten the feedback, if you read our neighborhood survey results, that game nights are just for kids. And I have thought, like, maybe we need a checkers chess thing and 2 chairs so that adults have something to play. And that's, you know, I probably have something like that at home. I could scramble up, but I don't know how people feel about that.
I just trying to imagine a couple people sitting there playing chess with all these kids.
Yeah, right.
That's my life right now. That's why this isn't a big deal to me. It's like, yeah,
I mean, if you think of something that would be more engaging for what we call adults, then I'm thoroughly engaged by what we already have, but clearly I'm not a typical adult. Odell had a pogo stick as a kid. That was super fun.
Were you good at it? Because I was not.
Oh yeah, well he was homeschooled, so we spent hours.
It was a class. It was a class.
Yeah, and the other thing for kids, you've got the chalk, so and the kids they seem to go nuts with that.
Sidewalk chalk, yeah.
Yeah. But adults, I mean, they want to bring.
I don't know what
You
they
know.
want. I mean, frisbee's an adult game, I think. Throwing things. That's totally
Giant
adult.
Jenga sets with like 2x4s.
Oh, God.
Life size.
Oh,
It'd be tough to move around.
Louis,
could you
bring those? Like, what's that big pole that you with the Scottish? The camper, the caber.
I do, so I don't have, well, I do have some ones. But they're not like made up to last. But I have the other implements.
You could give all the kids a hard hat.
All right, sign disclaimers.
So the Scottish Festival, we had like one of those, I think they're called timbers. So
Yes.
they're flat on 2 sides and round on 2 sides. And like wrap duct tape around the part that they'd be touching for the kids. And like, so like a adult could be standing up there holding it with one hand. The kid takes it and throws it. That was pretty safe, I think.
Javelin. We should just have javelin.
tell the adults that
Lawn
soon we're
darts.
going to have that schoolhouse to rebuild and they can come do adult things there.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's a great
Okay.
thing.
I think I like the idea. I mean, I don't have kids. I'm not really fond of them. I like this kind of fun.
It's a good time. Watch them run around, go crazy, eat a bunch of sugar,
Yeah.
then they go home with their parents.
Okay. So I won't worry about adult activities.
No, don't worry about that.
People
I
can
think-
bring their own activity.
I think more adults that come and engage with other adults and kids. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm all for the adults getting involved too, but to be able to talk and meet and maybe take just exhale as the kids running across the park and someone else is doing something with them. It's nice.
Get more balloons.
Bring a couple growlers from the filling station.
We get a lot more adults.
Bring your favorite adult beverage.
Okay.
I don't know if that's allowed.
Well, surreptitious. It can be
BYO.
Nope. But it's totally allowed. I just have one more agenda item.
Yeah, let's go.
So the potential dates for the meet and greet and welcoming of Peace Village residents.
All right.
Neighbors at Peace Village. So Matt and Kavana and several others have been trying to point us towards a date that would work. And they originally gave me a date and I said, it's the one day I can't be there. And I just said, I can see if anybody else can make it. He said, why don't we, because this has been back and forth, let's maybe do the 20th, but they had something else. He's thinking July. And I asked him would it be helpful if soccer came with a couple of dates that might work. Thursdays are their board meetings, or their meetings where they get together at 3:00, and that not board meetings, but where the community gets together, and that would be great. That would play in. So if there's a Thursday or maybe a couple of Thursdays that we could give them options in July, and they could tell us if that would work. I think the more people from the board and the community who want to come and say hello and welcome them.
I'm not available 4 or 11, but I'm available the other 2.
Which would be
18 and 25. But you don't have to schedule around me either.
I'm not available on the 18th, but I would be available on the 25th. Either makes me-
should we propose the 25th?
Yeah.
or the-
July 25th at 3 p.m. Sonia Carlson was interested. I think Martha Johnson and Chris was also.
Chris Fuller.
I'll have to,
Mhm.
I'll double check with Chris. So anybody else that, I know Scott's here, I know Tim's online,
Tim's online and Patty from,
and Patty is too.
Yeah.
Woohoo. So, yeah, I will circle back with Matt and see if the 25th of July. And then, we're gonna bring some goodies. I think they have coffee, but I'll double check and make sure.
you know what time on the 25th? It'd be like that 3.
3 p.m. You and them, they'll make it though.
That might be fashionably late.
Yeah.
And I don't anticipate it will go really very long, no.
How long is their thing usually on Thursday? An hour? 4?
So no question. I actually had coffee with Patty and Matt, was it last month, Patty, or the month before, but it was so great. It's a beautiful community. I got the full tour. Yeah, they're really, it's cool.
That particular time is already a coffee gathering, so that was why he wanted it at 3:00.
Yeah, and usually at the 3 o'clock thing, is it an hour duration or less, or?
I've actually never been, so it's as long as the people stay together. So it's not, you're not obligated to stay an hour.
Okay.
Perfect.
And Patty is a board member at Peace Village now, so she's
Excellent.
got a lot of info.
25th, 3:00.
Yep.
So
Yeah, right.
I will, yep.
Okay. Well, let's see. We have done a really good job banging through the agenda. Are there other things that people want to?
Yeah. I'm just starting this program, but, so I'm thinking of a meeting time to have folks from Habitat Haven. It's the Lane Audubon is doing this thing where you can have your backyard certified for, yeah, I'm gonna forget the word for, that it's bird friendly and pollinator friendly and wildlife friendly. And I just had them come out and give me the backyard program in progress. I would qualify for the gold standard already if I didn't have yellow flag viruses in my creek and still have blackberries. I have to get rid of that, but so I asked them, the folks who came out to look at my yard, if they would be willing to come do some type of presentation. But I was thinking of something with them and maybe Master Gardeners. There's a woman who is in the Master Gardeners through Extension who's primarily does native plants. And if there's maybe a third person or not, and how long they would need to just do some kind of presentation on this program.
So you're suggesting a program?
For a general meeting.
For a general meeting. But
Sounds great.
I'm just starting to put it together.
Uh-huh.
So it'll be out there a little ways.
That sounds super.
So if we're trying to do SJC in November, then we have August and October for transportation, stormwater, and habitat, or something depending on maybe transportation gets pushed out or something gets pushed out a little bit later
This could
to
get pushed out.
January.
Yeah, this might be a January thing.
But I
have
also,
options.
you know, a stormwater thing might not be a full
Yeah.
thing either.
And it might not happen. I think they're
Mhm.
still working on it from what I've heard.
Okay, so let me get more details from more people, because it's just something I just
Started.
signed up for. They came over to my house yesterday. We had a nice conversation.
I had another
My
I
backyard
don't-
is certified as rat habitat.
thing that I don't know if the city would be interested in this, but I know with this new intersection being their first safe, what's the buzzword? Safe intersection, the condensed version. I would wonder if they would want community feedback after a summer of it being in. You know, maybe something might be first of next year, but I would imagine maybe they don't want feedback and they want to just keep putting them in. But you'd think maybe they would be interested to know what the neighborhood thought of it after having it for a summer.
I've given them feedback to date, like when you only do part of it and then you quit, it's really dangerous the way you leave it for bicyclists, and it totally sucks. And it makes it impossible for us to use it
Sounds like there was
safely.
a lack of coordination on some utilities
I
there.
want to wait for them to come and see if it actually works.
But I don't know, just something I've thought about with that. I've been very curious to see its final form because I've seen it on diagrams, and I'm super curious to walk through it, take my kids through it, bike through it, and see how it works. And then I would hope that they would find interest in what we thought of it.
I'm sure they will, but I think it's probably quite a ways from being done. I don't know.
I mean, they're moving now that they've got the utility. They had to wait for utility redo, but now that they've got that going, they look like they're ready for sidewalks.
So after you're no longer bottlenecked there.
I wouldn't know what to do with it without having to wait in line there.
I have
Anyways.
neighbors with a lot of way in.
Mhm.
Oh, one more thing about as a follow-up to the public safety forum that we had to. I haven't gotten this information out, and I want to do it. Maybe they'll help me figure out how to do it. Maybe it's just a blog through Gary, or there wasn't really room in the newsletter to make that any longer.
Yeah.
But at our housing and homelessness discussion in April, there was a blanket statements about, and some of you know this, that some of the safe spot communities were basically, breeders of crime and theft and that sort of thing. And so Kate said, let's reach out to EPD and Eugene Police Department and see that they have the data on it. Because when someone makes a statement like that, and we don't have the facts or the stats, we can't refute it, and we can't, and so I caught Ryan Skiles, who is the data analytics guy for Eugene Police Department after the forum, and he said, so we looked specifically at the community that we had toured, and I sent him the entire map of all 14 spaces, and he said, so what we do is we narrow our focus and we collect all the data, and if we don't see anything conclusive from there, we go out from there. And he said, basically, there's no data that supports the statement. He goes, I've heard the statement. It's a common statement that people say these spaces are, rampant with crime or theft around them. But he said that's just not what the data supports. So I feel like we owe it to the community to get that information out there. We kind of owe it to safe, community supported shelters to say that. And I know that we had a conversation with Heather and she appreciated the data. So anyway, if there are thoughts about how to get that specific statement out that according to Eugene Police Department, that's just.
Maybe that can be part of one of the monthly online newsletters.
And then have it on our website so that if that comes up in a meeting, we can just pull it up quickly and say, here you go, check this out.
Well, I was just wondering if it's, we have a sign in from the public safety forum, everybody who showed up, right? Like an attendance list. And we could say, well, these were some lingering questions about there weren't, answers available right then and there. Do we?
This
it's
was-
like an email or so.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
this was from the meeting before.
It was actually from the April
Oh,
meeting.
yeah.
So one of those
The one that
people
got a little
didn't show up
contentious.
to the
Oh, there
public
we go.
safety forum.
Oh, right.
And
But we do have a sign in for the
Yeah,
April.
Yeah,
but we
that's
already
true.
talked about one or two people, and that's the thing is that you're right. You would need you don't let those statements go
Unrefuted.
unchallenged.
Mhm.
But
And we can't fact check everything,
No.
but when we do find out, we should when we can.
But I think just kind of saying, making it part of the general news, the monthly online letter that goes to folks.
Yeah.
And because we've got their address, their emails too, it's just kind of just make it sort of here's some background, here's some follow up from some of the discussion, and keep it friendly.
Yeah.
Right? But sure.
Okay, so would you like to craft language for that and give it to Jerry for the next month's? Oh, next month there isn't gonna be a thing, but there'll probably be a thing that says there isn't gonna be a thing, so it could be in there.
It's like you
Do-
do a general newsletter, Jerry.
Huh?
Do you do a general online newsletter?
Just the thing to
and
advertise
I
the meetings.
usually advertise things like the wildfire celebration and
Oh.
special things like that comes up.
So maybe Gary could push it out.
And Gary has his blog that has about as many people as I do.
Do both. Yeah, it can be short and sweet. It doesn't have to be really long just to say currently the date isn't there. So
And if you want more information, here's where you can.
Patty's raising her hand. Can they talk?
No, no.
All right. Yeah. What's up? Patty, you got your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say you might want to give that information to Heather at Community Supported Shelters, so she has that if that conversation comes up again.
that was the first thing we did, Patty. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good idea. We didn't want her to feel, attacked, and she said that was great information to have as well. So yeah.
Great minds think alike.
Yep.
I used to work there, so I just had that same feeling in that meeting.
Did we get all of the updated PowerPoints put on our website and stuff? I know that was it Ryan that sent over?
He did update those and send them over, and I have not done anything.
I didn't
with
do
them.
anything with that either. Okay. Maybe we can start an email thread with Gary and get that uploaded to the site or something.
Good idea.
Okay. Anything else, friends?
Just doesn't feel like a SCCO meeting ending before 9.
It's not much before 9, is it?
It's 8:43.
Yeah, so it's not much before 9.
Usually
I feel like
we
got a
usually
lot
haven't even
done.
started on new business yet.
Does anybody want a paper copy of the action plan to work from?
Yeah, put one under my pillow.
Sure.
I have probably a couple copies of that.
Yes,
Updated or the same?
it's the same one that was adopted.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
You know when you want me to hit
I
record
think
stop.
we can be done. Thanks, friends.
All right. Well, sun finally calmed down.